If Onijah coming to Pakistan was the best thing for Pakistan's PR, had this been a Pakistani woman who probably wore a scarf and fell in love with a guy in America and gone to America, had a mental breakdown, that would have been the worst, the absolute worst thing for Pakistan's PR. And I need to talk about this, and let me explain. See, when Onijah came over here, one thing you will notice, and you notice this in all the videos and the clips and everything, is that Pakistanis dealt with her with empathy, kindness, and with kid gloves. Kid gloves, because we know it's a woman in love. She's the one who catfished, but still, she's a woman in love. We need to respect that. And at the same time, she's also not well. So we dealt with her with empathy and kindness. You see, there was this really sweet video, which I think I reposted it yesterday. She was in the hospital, and I think she was having a lucid phase, because I think she was medicated. And she was crying. Because I think she was kind of realizing what was happening. And there were people all around her telling her, it's okay, we're here, you don't need to feel alone. And that was really sweet. And that video was quite widely shared on social media over here. And the caption that the person had written over here was that, like, seeing her cry is just making me cry also, because she feels so alone. Now, the one thing which I want to add over here is that people over here, we have this sense of humanity and empathy, that we are empathizing with her. And one thing you're going to notice over here is that not one person has referred to her as a black woman. No. We talk to her as Miss, Madam, Lady. Like, it's very respectful. It's very respectful, despite the fact that she is saying absolute nonsense. Despite the fact, but still, respectful. She's a guest in our country. We need to respect that. Now, had this been a Pakistani woman who probably wore a scarf, and she fell in love. Probably she was the one who catfished either also, but made it to America and had a mental breakdown. I'll tell you what would have happened. The minute the media would have had the story, the minute, they would not talk to her as Miss Madam Lady. No, she would have been a Muslim woman. That's how they would have referred to her as. They would have flashed her picture, flashed it everywhere, and they would have called her Muslim Pakistani woman came over here, and they probably would have had her visa, documents, and everything. They would have tried to find a way to say that she came in illegally first, because that's the story, that's the angle. She could have come in legally on a visa, but no, the media would have tried to first play around with that. Then, like, if that would have kind of not worked with, next thing they would have tried is to come for her identity, the Muslim woman. Her headscarf, they would have picked on the headscarf. And God forbid the French would have gotten this story, then the headscarf would have been the only issue. But the reality is just a woman in love. She's just in love. And she's a bit crazy. And they would have forgotten that. They would have completely forgotten that. That would not have been the story. And even if she was having a manic episode, somehow they would have tried to say, she said Allahu Akbar. And they would have tried to bring a terrorist angle. She did not say any of that. She probably never said any of that. But they would have tried to bring that in. Because that's what sells. That's what will sell the story. Pakistani woman, Muslim woman in New York. She came for love, but she said Allahu Akbar. My God, the headlines. Clarissa Ward would have had that story. Christian Amanpour would have wanted to do that story. The top journalist, the top white female journalist would have been fighting to get that story. But at the same time, they would have forgotten. They would have forgotten what it's all about. They would have forgotten that this is just a story about a woman who fell in love with someone online. She was catfishing him, but it's just love. It's just love, and it's just crazy love. A bit crazy love. They would have forgotten that. And the public opinion would have wanted blood. They would have loved this. They're like, yeah, that Muslim woman. Oh my God, she's a threat to national security. All of this stuff would have happened. They would have had mics in people's faces. What do you think about this woman? What do you think about her? And they'd be like, yeah, send her back home. Oh no, send her to jail. And what are people saying over here? Like, the public, they're like, no man, like, I hope we take care of her safely. I hope we get her back home safely. If she doesn't want to go, we can't force her. She's a guest at the end of the day. If she wants to stay, she'll stay. We'll braid her hair. We'll make her eyebrows. We'll get her food. If she wants 1 kilo of fish, we'll get her 1 kilo of fish. Over there, would that have happened? We all know that would not have happened. And that is the conversation that I want to have over here. I've been to America many times, numerous times. I've been to America numerous times. Both my siblings live there. And I love going there. But the feeling that you have as being an other, especially with the security apparatus, where I know they're looking at me differently. I'm an educated person. I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor by profession and education. I have 2 masters. I run a very successful page. I'm a very respected member of society over here. But how the security apparatus will talk to me, how they will look at me. You know, the first time I went to America, the first time I went, it was, I think, under the Obama years. And this was my first impression of the country. I was sent for secondary security screening. Um, and I sat in there for 8 hours. 8 hours. Because somehow they needed some security clearance. Without that, I could not go outside. And I just sat there and nobody would tell me anything about like what is happening with me, what is not happening, why am I here. My sister was outside. She'd gone through immigration. They would not even let me tell her that at least, okay, I'm okay. I'll come out in a bit, Marine, but I'm okay. I think they just need to verify some stuff. And in that room, they have people who are just convicts coming in. And it was the early Obama years, so everyone over there was just Muslim or kind of just looked like me. And it was quite traumatic, to be honest. It's quite traumatic, to be honest. So yeah, like I really wonder what would have happened like if this was a Pakistani woman who probably wore a hijab, who probably wore a scarf. It's having a manic episode and she just landed in America just for love. Despite being the catfishy, but she's landed there. Would people have treated her the same? Like over here, we're trying our best to send her back in one piece, to send her back happy, to send her back healthy. In America, would she have been given medical care? Would there be anyone who would have worried that, you know what, this person is maybe having a manic episode. Maybe she needs medications. No, man, they probably would have been, oh, is she on Medicare? Is she on Medicaid? What insurance plan does she have? Oh my God, if I call an ambulance, it's going to cost that much dollar or that much. We're not even worrying about that over here. We'll pay. She just needs to be okay because human life is precious. Human life is special and we value it. But over there, it's just a commodity and you feel like a burden and like everyone has a price over there. And that's what I wonder. And I wonder how would it have ended? Like over here, like we are trying to send her back healthy. Over there, I think she probably would have had a knee on her neck. She would have probably been dead by now. Or maybe in a CIA black site or something and never to be seen again. I'm sorry if this is morbid, but I really wanted to take the opportunity to talk about this and show the dichotomy of the situation. How things would have played out if it was the other way. Because at the end of the day, this is just a woman in love. She's just in love and love brought her across the 7 seas over here. Even if she's a bit crazy, we can take care of crazy. Would you have seen it the same way over there? Because I feel like we are so dehumanized and demonized in the media that the idea that, you know, a Pakistani woman too, a hijab wearing woman, maybe she can also fall in love. She also has dreams. She also has hopes. She can also fall in love across the 7 seas. Would you have been able to comprehend that? Or would you just see her as oppressed, extreme, terrorist? Ask yourself that.